guys, and welcome back to Just the Tips, the show where we unpack the ins and outs of Virgin Island.
It's episode 3, and this time we're talking about confidence. Can our sex coaches reach deep within our shy islanders and bring out their bold, self-assured selves? I'm Chris.
I'm Rebecca. Welcome back. Let's get right to it.
So this week we really hit the ground running with Tom's conversation about his confusion around his identity and truly who he is.
I think I'm confident when I'm someone else most of the time. That's why I do drama and all that. There are times where I just don't want to chat to anyone because I just hate myself so much. Like I wouldn't even get on the bus because I didn't want to talk to the bus driver, so I just walk everywhere. So I need confidence, and hopefully this place will give it to me.
Is knowing who you are at your core really important, do you think, when you're looking for a partner?
I think when looking for a partner, it's got to be, yeah. But I also relate to the sort of being scared of interacting with bus drivers. I know a lot of people that are like, oh, I still get my mum to call the doctors for me. Because there's that anxiety, there's that barrier that you need to break. And obviously, unless you break that one, and you need to accept that, I don't think anyone is just born into the world knowing what to do and confident with catching a bus and confident with going out on their own. Yeah. So you need to be able to break that barrier of doing things yourself first and finding yourself before you offer yourself to another partner.
I want to lose my virginity, but people just aren't interested in someone who doesn't have confidence in themselves.
We live in a very heteronormative world, a cisgendered, straight world, and when you're growing up and you realise there's something different about you, it can be completely consuming, and you're always trying to blend in, and you're always on high alert for people that might find you different or might notice that you're different. So once you understand who you are and what makes you different or what makes you special, and you have more of an understanding of who you are, then you can own it, and then you can get on the bus and be camp when you get on the bus, or have a slightly more effeminate voice, or the more effeminate mannerisms, and you know who you are, and you can sort of stand in your power in that sense. But when you're younger and you're not completely sure of why you're different or what it is about you that makes you you, being in public and talking to strangers can be really, really intimidating. So I still can't, I barely open my mouth when I order a coffee because I don't want to make too much atmosphere. I'm very meek sometimes. And I think that is from not wanting to rock the boat or not wanting to cause a scene and just wanting to blend in when I was younger. Yeah. So hopefully Tom will get to a point where he does understand his sexuality, does understand his gender expression and gender identity. And then, like it always says, once you know who you are and what you want, then you can actually approach it with somebody else. I think it's great that Tom's story is being shown on the show.
It is. It's relatable. It's going to be relatable to a lot of people.
Exactly.
Hopefully, yeah.
So we're going to talk about the skills of a great date.
All those skills that we need to have in order to have great relationships are just skills. You want to learn them and practice them. So
I found the dating workshop quite interesting, actually. It's really nice. Obviously, the experts can give them tips on how to date. Obviously, it's quite an unnatural setting to be able to carry out a full date with a group of people around you.
Yes.
But
broad daylight.
I do think that it broke the ice so that they could, get the basic foundations of how a date should go.
What stopped me from taking it to the next level of a lot of these dates I've been on, I think it's just lack of experience and lack of success at reading sort of social signals. I tend to play it safe. And I think for guys like me who just struggle with that, making the move and reading the signs, it's very hard.
With all the experts being really scientific about dating and sex, sometimes you go on a date and the chemistry just hits and you talk for hours and you think, we could do this forever, But some dates, or if you haven't been on that many dates, having some tips and having some pointers, I know I would have really appreciated back in the day. Yes. And actually, I'm going to say now, I'm going to say present day, just, making sure you're smiling, making sure you've got eye contact, asking the person about them, in the moment, complimenting, and in the moment, observations. I think they're all really good things.
I think learning how to take a compliment as well.
Yes.
Because I am terrible. If I'm sat on a date with someone and they say something nice, I'm just like, shut up.
Yeah.
Stop. Don't look at me. So
Get the drink and go.
Yeah, go away. How dare you say I'm
Leave me alone.
Yeah. So I think that's going to help them do that, as well as giving compliments, which is great. It is so awkward to take one.
I know.
Very, very awkward. So at least they're getting, you know, the first trial of doing that. Because
Exactly.
I still struggle to this day.
Flirting has gotten lost with so much texting.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, so like
oh.
everyone's so out of practice of like flirting in person.
Yeah, I'd say.
Sometimes you're texting and like the chat is so good, and then in person it's just
terrible. Oh, I've been
Yeah.
in that situation so
Yeah.
many times. Because you can proofread it and then delete the bits, but you can't do that in real life.
One time I met up with a guy from Tinder and we were just at the pub and it was all going quite nice, we were getting quite well. And then all of a sudden he whips out his phone and goes on Tinder and is scrolling through Tinder in front of me and sort of barking at girls. Sort of every time he'd see a girl that he liked, he'd be ruff, ruff. And I was just there like, what? What are you doing? So I quickly left and did not message him again.
I remember like the guy was like, he was sat next to me and wasn't even across from me. I think that's a major red flag. Should be sitting across from me. He basically started winking at her when she was like, she was eating all her food and he was staring at her like constantly. And he started recording me eating and I got really scared. And there wasn't even like a date-ish or maybe something like that.
I can get really tongue-tied and just forget words.
How to
like
speak.
I'd be like, wow, forget what jeans are. Do you know what I mean? And just be like, your blue trousers are amazing. Like I can be very like, sometimes I'm in the zone, and then sometimes.
See, my problem is I don't know when people are flirting with me. I just think everyone's friendly. So
Okay,
I don't
nice.
come across as flirting. Like someone will be like, hi, how are you? You're looking beautiful. I'll be like, hi, George, how are you? It's very nice to see you. Do you want a coffee?
That's part of your charm.
Yeah, I just don't really have the... I'm just
The
like,
flirting bug.
I always think, why would you flirt with me? Surely you've got some standards. Do you know what I mean? That's how So yeah, I'm very, very blunt and just don't see anyone romantically, just like a
Fine.
friend. But that works for me because I get laid all the time. So.
Exactly.
I always thought I was bi, but being here and having to like kind of confront it,
Yeah.
I think I might not like men like at all.
Okay. And how does it feel to like sit with it and own it?
It feels good to own it, but it's also really scary.
It is really
Yeah.
scary, yeah.
Okay, so one very, very important moment in the show is Taylor. Taylor discovering that she is in fact a lesbian.
Yes.
That was a breakthrough, wasn't it? How much do you think that's going to impact her life, change her life, make her, you know, blossom?
She has no idea how much it's going to change her life now that she's come to terms with that, released all the shackles of what if I'm maybe bi or what if I'm trying to be someone that I'm not. I'm so happy, and all her emotion was, I felt it. The release that you feel, the lightness you feel when you're like, oh, this is me and this is what I'm going to do. And also, she will kiss a girl and be like, it will be like a heavenly choir playing. Like, do you know what I mean? She will be like, oh, this is what it's supposed to feel like all the time.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for you, Taylor. Go and get them.
So how was your, what was that one-on-one session you did?
I went to my one-to-one session.
Who's it with? Good.
It was with Kat, and it was the best one I've had.
Oh,
and
really?
I'm definitely gay. Oh, no, thank you. What a breakthrough.
You know what's really good as well? Like, she's discovered it there, so she's had only lots of support. So obviously
Yeah.
she's gone out and told the rest of the group, I think I've just discovered
Yeah,
that
and they
I'm a
were lovely.
lesbian, which must be a very different reaction to people that obviously you know very well, or and they're gonna see it on the show probably. Hopefully Taylor will get to tell her beforehand. I haven't told the family beforehand, I don't know, but the fact that she's been able to say, yeah, I'm a lesbian, but then go and openly speak about it, everybody's clapping, everybody's
Yeah.
happy, making jokes about it as well, which I think that's quite a lot of people's defence mechanism, but it's also making Taylor realise that it was never that serious,
It's
Taylor.
never that serious.
It's good to be gay.
It's great to be gay. And also, everyone at home might be waiting for her to come out.
Yeah.
They might be
yeah.
like, We know, gal. Yeah. And hopefully everyone at home has really supported her and is really, really happy for her. And, you know, hopefully since the show, she's gone down the gay bars and had a lovely old time. It's a really hard moment to get to. It takes a lot of, you know, stress and a lot of mind whirlwinds and a lot of emotion. But that breakthrough, that moment for her was just like the clouds parting, and it was just beautiful to watch.
I think the show's gonna get a little bit more spicy now she's come out.
I'm just gay, and I think I've been deluding myself into like, no, I like men as well because that's normal and good. But like, I didn't feel scared. I felt really good.
This is Taylor's first coming out moment, and I'm so blessed that we got to witness that. Something that is really interesting that made me think about my coming out is that you do have to keep coming out all the time. You know, every time sometimes it's really easy, sometimes people get it by my mannerisms or the way my voice sounds or the way I dress, but sometimes when you start a job or when you meet a family member, you have to almost come out all the time.
I suppose you
over
get
and
used
over.
to it after a bit, and it doesn't seem as daunting as the first time.
It doesn't seem as daunting, and sometimes, again, it might just happen in a second and it goes. But even now, sometimes there might be a situation where you feel you almost regress to that child and you feel you have to almost, you know, like build up the strength again or the courage again to let it out again and tell people, come out again. So it's something that she's going to have to do.
Yeah, that's something I would have never thought of, to be fair, the multiple coming outs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sex before marriage is definitely a personal choice. You know, I have no religious views about things, so try it before you buy. That's what I would say.
I'm happy to wait until I find the right person, and you know, I am a little bit more traditional in the sense that like I do want it to be special and with someone special and to have that emotional connection with that person. I do feel stigma for being a virgin. I mean, I feel like everyone around me lost their virginity when they were like 16, 17, or at least 18, 19, and I'm still a virgin at 20.
If we look at the way that society's viewed virginity for a very long time, you look at different cultures, it's held on quite a high pedestal because, you know, there's a lot of cultures where you don't have sex before marriage and you are expected to keep your virginity. Obviously, the traditional wedding dress is white to symbolise purity and virginity. But do you think we're past that now in this country anyway?
I think so. I think it's something that is quite outdated. I think being experienced in sex and being confident in your sexual activity and enjoying sexual activity with your partner if you were going to marry them, I think is important. I think it's important to know that before you get married, for me.
Same, I agree.
And I think it also allows a lot of freedom and a lot of exploration and it gives you intelligence about yourself before you then venture into a marriage with somebody.
You don't know yourself until you've obviously experienced, especially going into a relationship, you want to know that you can get turned on by this person. You want to know that there is a sexual connection. I mean, there's many times that I've been on dates with guys and I thought, oh, he's great. And then we've gone to do the deed. And for example, there was this one time where a guy had a very, very strong accent and I liked him up until the point he went, come for me. And then that was it. That was over.
And we couldn't have known that.
Never saw him again. I could have married him. I could have been hearing, come for me. For the rest of my life.
Every day.
But yeah.
Every other day.
So for me, it's important that I get raw dogged before marriage.
Yeah.
Would you sell your virginity?
I would. I've considered it before.
Well, what would you sell your virginity for?
I'd say a couple $100K plus.
I'd do it for a tenner and a packet of donuts.
Now, this is something that I didn't know would come up on Virgin Island.
About this. I have a very good story about this. So I actually know somebody who waited up until they were 18 and could legally join subscription sites and then raffled off their virginity at the age of 18 for a substantial amount of money. And I mean, some people see virginity as a special thing that they need to hold on to and wait, you know, until the right person's there. And then some people just don't see it as a big deal at all. So I think to her, like, the money was very, very interesting. And to me, if I was still a virgin at the age of 18 and I knew that I was going to get a lot of financial benefit from it, I'd probably do it.
Yeah.
Because I think I would have got more financial benefit from selling my virginity than I ever did emotional benefit by giving away my virginity, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, like, a lot of people don't really they'll remember where they lost their virginity, who it was to, but you can't really say that it's that magical moment that you're waiting for. Like, everyone's got, you expect music in the background, you expect slow connection.
It's awkward and it's messy.
It hurts a lot of the time.
So you might as well get paid.
I'm not saying that, but I am saying that.
You could do. That could be somebody's
I mean, there's
opinion.
going to be a lot of people out there that would pay. And I, in the job that I do, I always get men messaging me, asking me if they could pay me to take theirs. Now, I'd feel very bad doing that. I wouldn't do that personally because I don't offer that service. But there are people that are so worried about this label of being virgins that they are offering other people money to have it taken away. It's like, how much of a stigma does the word virgin really have?
But then there's also something the Islanders have spoken about, this label that just keeps coming over and over, and the kind of mental roller coaster of like reminding themselves over and over. It could be ended
in one night
with a professional.
In 3 minutes.
Yeah,
it could be ended.
with a professional who knows what they're doing.
Yes, yeah.
So it could actually, potentially, it could be a really great way of silencing all those voices and then being able to move forward with other connections and other
intimacies. Would it have some mental baggage coming away with it as well? Like, can you imagine if you go on to be, you know, talking to other people, dating them, and they ask, so when did you lose your virginity? Or how did you lose your virginity? Who was it with? And then you have to sit and say, oh, I was 25 and it was with a sex worker. Maybe that would still be a similar label to the virgin, because both stories are quite different.
This is just me. If I would be not fazed at all.
No?
No. If someone said I got to a certain age and I paid someone to help, and then that kind of released that pressure and I was able to go forward with probably some knowledge and it was taken care of in a safe way, and the sex worker was kind and, you know, probably gave me a bit of a tutorial, I'd think, that's a good use of your money.
And get a tip as well for that.
Yeah, good use of your money.
Thanks for the tips, here's the tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, definitely.
But that's just me. Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up and say goodbye, but join us next time with episode 4 of Virgin Island, when we will be getting our hands on the body. Rebecca, I can't wait.
I can't either. Goodbye.
See you later.